The Blackhawks lose 6-3 to the Vancouver Canucks, a.k.a. the worst team in hockey. We'll wrap it up next on a CHGO Blackhawks postgame show. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame podcast. Thanks for being with us. Hawks lose 6-3 to the Vancouver Canucks. I'm Jay Zawaski. That's Greg Boyson. Chloe Thiel is here running the show. She has been here all day, and we appreciate that, putting up all sorts of shorts and social media stuff, working really, really hard behind the scenes, and we always appreciate that. Mario will join us in a little bit from the United Center with postgame reaction. Final score 6-3. The Canucks get 2 empty net goals to make the final score look much worse than it actually was. Hawks had a bad start to this game. They were down 3-1 really, really quick. And 6:32 into the game, they were down 3-1 and had to battle back the whole game. Hit some posts, hit some goalie knobs, hit all sorts of things, but didn't hit the back of the net enough. And quite frankly, a subpar performance from Arvid Soderblom. And there you have it. That is the result of this game. No puck luck, a bad start, and bad goaltending.
I mean, it was a fantastic start. You had Ryan Donato get a goal a minute 8 in.
You did.
Then
yes.
That 6 minutes after that goal cost them the game.
Yep.
Because outside of that span where the Canucks scored their 3 goals, they were the better team the rest of the way. They had a lot of puck possession. Connor Bedard looked awesome tonight, dangerous, but you could finish 1 or 2 of those plays off. I wouldn't be mad at you. Lots of great scoring chances, just no goals. It's frustrating on nights like that. They had a shaky goaltender. He was just constantly moving and going side. Like a guy like that, you got to get guys to the front of the net for rebounds because he was giving them up.
Yeah.
And
not a lot of second chance opportunities for the Hawks.
No, because there wasn't enough guys going to the front of that. The only guy that was really going to the front of that consistently was the new guy, Andrew Mangiapane. We'll talk about him, but there's really no way to say it any other way but this is a bad loss. This is a team you should beat. It's a team you've beaten once already. They've got 2 wins in their last 19 games or something silly like that.
45 points.
The worst team in the league.
They're
on
awful.
Home ice Friday night. The national anthem was as loud as it's been in a long time. People are excited. It's the first game in over a month. You score a goal a minute in the game. That building was rocking, and then 30 seconds later, you could hear a mouse fart. It was dead, done.
Yeah. It's a big mouse, but still.
And then when they got the second goal, the life got back in the building, and you got to win that game. I mean, I know it's been a rough day. It's been a weird week.
Same for Vancouver.
Yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, they the Hawks traded their captain. They traded Murphy. They traded Dixon. These are guys that a lot of these guys in the locker room I've looked up to, but that's not an excuse. If anything, that should get you a little more motivated. Hey, let's show we could do this.
You felt like in a minute into the game, and then you get the game tying goal with less than a minute to go in the third, and that felt like, all right, finally they broke through. Because there was a span in the second period. I tweeted this out, and I couldn't believe it. I went and double checked my work 10 times. The Canucks got off to a 7-1 shot lead. Halfway through the second, they had 8 shots on goal. There was a span from 4:27 into the first to 8 minutes into the second that the Canucks had 1 shot on goal in that entire span. 12-1, the Hawks had a shot advantage. So they were pushing and pushing and pushing. And after a crappy first period, and I was really frustrated after the end of the first because they're pulling up at the blue line. They're making the extra pass, And it was just sloppy. It was unorganized, and they settled in. Once Nazar scored, they took it to him for most of the third, most of the second, most of the third, and then that Besser goal that is a harmless shot on Soderblom rides up his stick because he's not holding his stick correctly, and Besser just whacks out of the air, and that's the game. Like, you just can't have a goal. To me, this is a goaltending loss. Did they play a complete game? Absolutely not. Was the first 7 minutes of the first period inexcusable? Yes, it was. However, the next 50 were really, really strong, and you need your goalie to make a save every now and again. I know he wasn't expected to start. Spencer Knight unable to go tonight because of illness. He wasn't even the backup. But it's just like, man, as good as he was against Utah, that's how as bad as he was now. It's just so frustrating.
And who knows how long he had to prepare that he was starting. You know, we didn't even talk about the fact that Spencer Knight was scheduled to start and was sick, and they had to sign Caden Edwards to a PTO to be a backup, the guy that I thought was Laurent Brossoit the first day of training camp this year, who ironically has played more games for the Blackhawks now than Laurent Brossoit ever did.
That's true.
So, yeah, we don't know. You know, goalies are creatures of habit. And I'm sure when you are not, you know, again, it's not an excuse, but it's a factor, I think, into his slow start. But he's got to be better than that. And it's disappointing because they played so well on that road trip, you know, against four, you know, two teams who are in the playoffs, a team fighting for a playoff spot, and the Winnipeg Jets, a team that's miserably underachieved this season.
Yeah.
And you could have won all four of those games. You were in the Nashville and the Colorado game till the end. You know, you had the really good game against Utah, and then, you know, you blew the Jets game late. So to come home, I know you've had all these distractions, blah, 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 but, you know, not having Nick Foligno on the bench was not a factor in why you're skating into the zone full speed and then coming to a complete stop and passing it backwards and not getting that had nothing to do with that. Yes. So it was still came down to execution, and execution was poor tonight for much of the team. There were some good stuff. We mentioned Bedard, Mangiapane. He was impressive in his first.
Didn't play a ton, but I liked what I saw from him. From a guy who hasn't practiced with his team yet.
I mean,
north and south.
He plays that simple style of hockey that when the entire team was playing that way, back at the out of the holiday break to start the year, they were winning. So maybe that can be contagious. And I want to give a shout out to Oliver Moore was really good tonight. I really like where he's at, sliding into Jason Dickinson's spot with Mikheyev and Bertuzzi. I think that's a really effective line for him to where he can be more aggressive because he knows Mikheyev and Bertuzzi are going to be where they're supposed to be. So he can take some more offensive chances out there, but he's got the speed to get back and play defense.
Yeah.
I want to see that be a thing for the last 20 games of the year. Obviously, things might happen, injuries, blah, blah, blah. You got to shuffle the lines a little bit, but Oliver Moore hasn't had a defined role since he got caught up. You know, he let's play him with Nazar. They had some chemistry. Lardis is here. They were really good in Rockford. Lardis is gone. Let's play him on the fourth line. Maybe he's an energy guy. Maybe he's a winger. Play him on this spot the rest of the season and let him build off of that. I think that's a perfect spot for him for these last 20 games.
And it's interesting because you went 11-7, so there was some line mixing going on. Your most effective line, it was Nazar, Donato, Teravainen, 71.43 Corsi for percentage, 5 shot attempts for 2 against. But you look at those guys individually. Donato, 11 shot attempts for 2 against. Tavo, 7 shot attempts for 2 against. Nazar, 15 shot attempts for 5 against. That's at 5-on-5. Those guys, that trio had a great game. Del Mastro, 8 shot attempts for 3 against. Liked his game. Overall, they played well enough to win. They're not going to play a perfect game. When the team is this young, when there's this many rookies and this many young players in the lineup from night to night, you're going to have those moments of the game where it gets away from them. They lose their structure. that's the point of them doing this now, learning this on the fly and learning to minimize those dips. So instead of 7 bad minutes to start the game, maybe it's a shift or 2, and then they get it back and get back to where they were. For the most part, they were totally in charge of this game. Only one player on this entire team was under 50% possession. It was Landon Slaggert, who I thought had a nice game, 8 shot attempts for 12 against, so not even anything that egregious at 5-on-5. It's just they're not good enough yet to overcome 7 minutes of bad hockey and bad goaltending. You can't overcome both. It's impossible.
Yeah, I liked Slaggert's game, and I honestly think it was because of Mangiapane, because the Bloom of prefaces is not slam, but like when you've got Landon Slaggert, good skater, good speed, and you're on a line with Nick Foligno, you kind of have to be slowed down a little bit. Now that he's got a guy that can match him for speed, I think that's going to help his game out as well, that he can go full blast and have a guy that's in his hip pocket that can keep up with him.
Well, that the penalty Slaggert drew was just what you're talking about, is the two of them enter the zone from the blue line. Mangiapane's got the puck. Slaggert, as everyone should, is like, sweet, we got numbers. I'm just going to put my head down and head to the net and put my stick on the ice. Did that. Mangiapane put the pass on his tape, but Slaggert got hooked. So there was and the Hawks went on the power play. That's it. Like speed, north and south, that's the stuff that's going to draw penalties. Mangiapane also drew an interference call today right in front of the Canucks net. He's trying to get up, it was in front of the Hawks net, rather. He's trying to get up and go back and defend, and he's working, and a Canuck just won't let him up, and the Hawks are back in the power play. Like, it's that sort of thing. And that's what Davidson talked about and what Blashill talked about with Mangiapane is he's got that motor, right? Don't know if he's ever going to be a big time scorer for the Hawks. He's got this year and next year left on the contract at $3.6 million. But if he can be a 30-point energy guy who's going to go out there and make a guy like Landon Slaggert look better, or a guy like Oliver Moore, it'd be a nice compliment to those kind of guys. I think there's some value there. So we'll see. It's one game. Like we said, he hasn't had a chance to ever practice with the Blackhawks at all yet. Just literally landed this morning at 1 a.m. and played his first game as a Hawk today. So overall, I thought he was fine, pretty noticeable, and it didn't seem like Blashill was too afraid to deploy him. Finished the game 8:36. Was credited with a shot attempt and 3 hits. So not a huge event night, but I thought there were moments in just 8:36 of ice time that stood out and that we noticed.
Do we want to hear from the newest Blackhawk?
Yeah, why don't we do that, and then we'll hit the break zone and give you our Game Day Men's Health Game Day Puck nominees after that.
How was it for you tonight?
It was good. It was a lot of fun to get back in there, and it was a great atmosphere first and foremost, and and just fun to play in. Right, I think it was a little disappointing the way it kind of ended there. I thought our second, we kind of took the game over, and we were playing more. They were playing more like like ourselves in a way, right? And I know I'm kind of a new guy here, but that's how kind of we need to play, right? I think there was a lot of good things we did.
Frank said you kind of fit right in with everybody. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's a great group of guys here, and you see it. There's a lot of young, skilled talent, and a lot of life and energy in this dressing room, right? So it's a fun team to be a part of, and you could just see it kind of on the ice and their skill and talent, right? So.
What's the key to adjusting so quickly?
Just lots of, I think, communication. I think that'll help me through it. Just learning the systems, little things like that. Right? I think that goes a long way, and knowing what the coach kind of wants from you, and what you could kind of offer to the team, and just talking it through. Right, there's going to be maybe mistakes out there, learning the new system, but the quicker I can adjust and adapt, and it'll make it, I guess, better for me and better for the team. And I think the only way to do that is through communication.
What did you see in that chance with 5 minutes left?
Yeah, I would have liked to put that home there. Don't really know if he saved it or if it got blocked or something, right? So I just got to bear down and put that in the back of the net.
You played with some good players in your NHL career so far. What was your first impression of Connor Bedard after First time playing with him?
No, he's a good player, right? And I played with him at Worlds a couple of years ago, and it was my first time kind of watching him, right? And he's definitely matured and grown since then. And he's a special player in this league, and you could see it on that ice. The way he just kind of controls the puck and get chances and his shots, unbelievable. So it was cool to see.
All right, that's Andrew Mangiapane after his Blackhawks debut. Now it is time to tell you our Game Day Men's Health Game Puck nominees. Better father, better husband, better man. Go to Game Day Men's Health. Visit GameDayCHGO.com to find the locations closest to you. 3 nominees today. Frank Nazar scores a goal, picks up an assist, 2 points. He had 3 shots on goal, 2 hits, and was one of the better Hawks at the faceoff dot. Won 7 and lost 9 for 44%. That's tied for the team high with Oliver Moore. So he gets a game puck nomination. Ilya Mikheyev, a goal and an assist as well. 3 shots on goal, 6 total shot attempts and a hit. Just dynamite, set up beautifully by Oliver Moore for that one-timer goal, but another really strong game from Ilya Mikheyev, which has become kind of the expectation here. By the way, if you missed Kyle Davidson, who spoke this afternoon, the entire thing is on our YouTube page, so you can check that out, and on our podcast audio feed, correct, Chloe? Yep, and we also put a bunch of clips up on...
And I wrote about it on blackhawkup.com,
yes,
too.
you did, blackhawkup.com.
So you can check out some of the juicier quotes about the loss of the leadership group, and as well as the vision, the overall vision, or a little bit of a spoiler alert, a little bit of tone change today, a little bit of
a shift.
Might make people less weird.
Nope, probably not. But he talked about how much he wants Ilya Mikheyev back,
and he should, because he's really good and does his job well, and had a great game tonight. He likes playing against the Canucks, a team that gave up a second round pick to get rid of him.
Yeah. The third nominee is Oliver Moore. Had an assist, but was just all over the place tonight. He only played 13:54. He was noticeable for all 13:54 of that. Finished with 2 shots on goal, 4 shot attempts, and a giveaway. Also 1-4, lost 5 faceoffs. So just a really solid game from Oliver Moore. Loving him at center. Loving him in that third line role. Looked really, really good. All right, do us a favor, hit that like button for us. Make sure you've subscribed to our YouTube page as well. If you're catching up on the podcast later, we love you and we appreciate you as well. Do us a favor there. Follow, subscribe, rate, and review. It is very, very helpful when you do that. Back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks. What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi, and what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That is the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. It's super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense, and that lets you stream the game even when the whole family's online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment is included. Take it from us. A lot can change in 5 years. Captains are traded. Alternate captains are traded. Dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable, and the price should stay put. So lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. This is on select plans only, and restrictions do apply. And although it's 70 degrees out, winter is still here, and you know it will be back with a vengeance before long. Is your home's heating up to the challenge? Now's the time to schedule your 4 Seasons furnace tune-up. If you're thinking about a whole home generator, they've got you covered. At 4 Seasons, they guarantee same-day installation for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, and generator needs with no extra charge for nights, weekends, or holidays, because that is when things go wrong. Furnaces start at $39 a month. Furnace AC combos from $57 a month. Call today and save $50 from your trusted local experts. 4 Seasons, they've been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. Visit 4seasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's 4seasonsheatingcooling.com. All right, get your votes in for our Game Day Men's Health Game Puck. Will reveal the winner at the end of the show. And I believe a little birdie tells me we're going to make our first visit to the Frathouse in Madison in some time. Very exciting. It's been a long time. Oh, sure.
We should.
Go ahead.
Do it.
I am being blamed for jinxing the Blackhawks.
You did.
I made Arvid Slaughterboom bad. Go. The Hawks should win tonight.
Oh, you said it.
Yeah, all right, there you go.
Kind of would.
Clip that,
Come
Chloe.
on.
So when we're hearing 6 hours talking about a 4-1 loss,
I said should.
I was talking.
I said should. Where am I wrong? Shouldn't the Hawks have beaten the worst team in hockey tonight?
yeah, and they didn't because you
Okay.
put it out in the universe.
No, I didn't say they're going to win. Book it. I said they should win. And I was right. Does anyone disagree that the Hawks should have won this game? Judging by the chat, where fire everyone, blow up the rebuild, bring in Vinny Hinostroza for some scoring depth. They should have won.
He would have scored tonight.
They should have won. So take that. In hindsight, the video looks good. It makes me look smart. Said they should win. Thank you very much.
Jinx.
Yeah.
You're a jinx.
We should talk about Sam Rinzel a little bit today.
Did you jinx him too?
I guess so. Did not have a great first period. What I'm seeing from Rinzel, actually, I shouldn't say seeing. What I saw from Rinzel tonight was a young defenseman out there thinking, processing, worrying. On that power play, was it the power play? Whatever it was. There was he had the puck at the blue line, unguarded. Like no one was really pressuring him, and he just kind of whiffed it to the middle of the ice, and the Canucks went the other way and scored. And there were a few moments in this game where he just kind of got crossed up. You know, we saw that from Kevin Korchinski in his first game this year, where he just kind of wasn't sure when to turn, and then ultimately just kind of never turned, and it was too late. I think we saw a little bit of that from Rinzel today. Again, understandable with young players. There's going to be peaks and valleys, but I don't know. I feel like he had been playing well since the Olympic break, so I'm not sure what it was about tonight in particular that had him feeling jumpy.
I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't his best game. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's playing with a different defensive partner. He was playing with Kaiser tonight and then mixed around a little bit because of the 7 defensemen. He's somebody that spent the last few games with Murphy when he's been up. So first night playing with a guy like Wyatt Kaiser, who was his first game back.
Yeah.
So, he had a little jump in his step tonight. So could be a little bit of that. But, again, it's you're dealing with rookie defensemen, and rookie defensemen are going to just have those nights where they're in their own heads and they're fighting it and they're thinking too much. And the second you start thinking at that position, you become slow. And when you're slow at defense, you're usually digging the puck out of the back of your own net.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's not like a time for a panic on that. Let's see how he rebounds on Sunday. Against Dallas. That's a tough team to try and have to rebound against. But the schedule's the schedule, so we'll see how it goes. But he's played well on the road this year, so that shouldn't be a major issue. But a disappointing game. But he wasn't great, but then Artyom Levshunov steps up and has another solid game.
Yeah, I really liked this game. I just shoot the puck though.
Yeah,
He has so many opportunities to shoot that
he's that's
gun shy.
It's because of just he gets in his own head again too, because it's like beginning of the year, they want him to shoot more because he was focusing on his defense. So then he starts shooting more, and then he's shooting too much. So now, we got to pull you back. So now he's I think he's like overthinking it too much. We're like, well, they don't want me to shoot as much, but I need to shoot it some. When do I shoot it? Just shoot it when it's there. But he had a solid game. He led the defenseman in ice time. Is that correct?
Yeah, 2009. Yep.
And got some penalty kill time, which is not something you see very often.
He had a lot, 148 of penalty
but
kill time.
with Murphy gone, and then one of those penalties was killing off a Rinzel penalty. So that shows that there's some trust.
That's the play I'm thinking of. They didn't give up a goal. He took a penalty.
Yeah.
He turned the puck over in the Hawk zone and then went back and took a tripping penalty at the other end. There was not a goal scored. My bad. But that's the moment I was thinking of from Sam Rinzel. So, I do think Levshunov has looked a lot better since the break. It's another thing that Davidson talked about today, where he said, frankly, like when you do what you did with Levshunov before the break, when you sit him down, you give him a rest, you want to see the response. A guy's either going to shut down or he's going to embrace the opportunity and grind, and that's what Levshunov did. During the Olympic break, if you don't know this, Levshunov went back to Florida to keep practicing hockey. That's all he did over the break. There was no big, well, maybe there was a short, whatever. I don't know that for sure. But the focus of his Olympic break was to keep playing hockey, keep grinding, keep getting better. And that's the sort of response you want to see. And I think there's been a little bit of concern about Levshunov. Like, there's like kind of this, I don't know. I don't really know how to define this, but I think there's some assumptions that he just doesn't want to go to Rockford. Like, he'll refuse it. I can't.
Well,
I've not verified that from anyone, worthy of that. But it just seems to be like kind of a whispered thing. So I think there's been, point being, I think there's been some concern about, his level of commitment or his level of understanding what it takes to succeed in this league. And Kyle Davidson said it, like the fact that he took that challenge of the break to work on his game is really, really encouraging.
Yeah, for sure. This is, the response you wanted to see from him. That the Utah game was probably his best game as a pro. And he's followed it up with some nice outings. Like he looks more confident out there and sure of himself, and he's being a little more physical, which he needs. So, I've liked the progression I've seen there. So let's keep it going. Let's close it out. These last 20 games are still important because you got a guy like Levshunov finish the season strong. We're going to see Rinzel. It would be huge for Frank Nazar to take the goal tonight and use it to finish out strong, because I've noticed the new trendy cool thing to do online is to crap on Frank Nazar. Has he had a disappointing season? Absolutely.
Sure.
But to be questioning the contract extension because he's had a down season that included 2 separate injuries, okay, fine. Be cool and negative online. That's you're
edgy.
You're very cool, anonymous social media guy that likes to be negative about everything. But he had that goal tonight. You could see when he scored it that he was kind of like, oh God, yes, that felt
monkey
good.
off the back a little bit.
So it's important for him to finish out strong. It's pretty much a foregone conclusion at some point before this season is over. Anton Frondel is going to make his NHL debut. Sasha Boisvert is going to make his NHL debut. Those are things to be excited about and care
100%.
about. And so there's a lot to keep paying attention to and looking out for over these last 20 games. And Artyom Levshunov is one of those, closing out this season strong after having to be reset going into the Olympic break and then finishing the season on a high note, playing your best hockey. That's gigantic.
Yeah. And you saw I'm going to be interested to keep an eye on the deployment for the rest of the year here. But your ice time leaders today were Bedard, Nazar, and Levshunov. That's what you want to see. You want to see these young guys playing. Ryan Green was next. Then it was Sam Rinzel, right? Like the guys that matter long term are the ones playing the most ice time in this game. That is a shift. I think that's a shift from Jeff Blashill here too. All right, now it is sink or swim for these guys.
Well, he's got no choice.
Right. Well, but I think maybe the temptation is, all right, I'm going to lean on Grzelcyk more, or even like Vlasic and Kaiser. And I know you want to ease Kaiser back in a little bit, just coming off an injury, but like. No, it's not leaning on Tavo too much or Bertuzzi too much. It's now is the time for these young guys to take over both on the ice and in the room. They're being encouraged to do so by their coach, by their general manager, by the outgoing leadership group saying, we've done what we can. This is your team now. Take it. Run with it. Lead this thing.
Blashill's been pretty good with the defense this season to where he kind of the guy that leads the team in ice defensive wise, especially during the 7-11 phase at the beginning of the year, was the
okay?
Yeah, it jumped and hit me in the face. The
7-11.
Yes. whoever's playing best on the blue line gets the most minutes, and that goes from game to game. So it was Levshunov tonight. It might be Kaiser on Sunday. It could be Vlasic on Sunday. You know, he doesn't like have this set mindset of like, well, I have to get Krevy and Vlasic 25 minutes tonight.
Well,
like,
yeah.
he doesn't have that guy, and he shouldn't. So it's who's ever playing best is going to get the most shifts, and that's how it should be done, and that's what he's done.
And hopefully down the stretch,
yeah. Well,
your best players are Bedard and Nazar. Yeah. That would be
really he also
good.
doesn't have a Quinn Hughes that he can pencil in for 30 minutes a night and not worry about it. Like he doesn't have that guy. So
not yet.
He's done a good job at rolling his defenseman this season.
100%. All right, we're going to hit the break zone again. Mario Tirabassi is standing by from the United Center with post-game audio from Jeff Lasher. We'll hear from him next on CHGO Blackhawks. And you know the moment, the one when you realize you left your favorite sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of your car or at a gas station 3 states away. I have been there too. Left one in the Shell bathroom. Never seen that one again. But then we found Shady Rays, and it changed the game. These sunglasses, they're made for real life. They look great. They're polarized, they're durable, and they're not stupidly expensive. It's a great value. And the best part, if you lose them or break them, even on the first day, Shady Rays is going to send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now you can actually wear your sunglasses without fear on hikes, at concerts, on the boat, wherever. Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back, and we are very pleased to have our friends at Shady Rays back on board with us. So go to shadyrays.com, use our code CHGOSR for 40% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Again, that's CHGOSR at shadyrays.com. And the shot clock is ticking, and it's your chance to shop buzzer beater deals all month long at Ray Chevrolet during their Car Clearance Madness event. Stop in today and drive home with 0% financing for 72 months on new Chevy models, or check out their selection of over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. With one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories, you'll be sure to find the perfect vehicle for you. And as one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, they're going to keep their prices competitive, so you know you're getting a great deal. Plus, Ray's Price Promise lets you shop confidently because the price you see is the price you're going to pay. Go see for yourself. Visit them at their convenient location right on Route 12 in Fox Lake, and don't miss your shot to shop their Car Clearance Madness event going on all month long for 0% financing for 72 months on new Chevy models. Shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or at raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive.
Ram. Oh, wait. Wrong one. Sorry.
All right. Breathe. And let's go out to United Center and welcome in Mario Tirabassi, who was in the locker room and there as Jeff Blashill spoke after the game. What's up, Mario?
What's going on, guys? Is this day almost over?
Nope. 2 more post games to go. We're going to do a couple mini pods after this, too.
Sounds good. You guys have fun with that. I'm going
We got
home.
the cot set up. We're good. We're sleeping here like Brian Burke used to do.
Let's pull a what chaos and just go 24 straight hours.
Yeah, let's bop it.
Nah, I'm good.
What did we learn? What do we see? What's happening?
Over. We learned that this is a very young team, youngest in the league, and they're going to play like it from time to time. And I mean, it was just the length of the day that it has been, the kind of ups and downs it's been. I think that probably played a bit of a factor into the start of the game. A lot of disjointed play for the Hawks to begin the game. I mean, look, you get Ryan Donato's amazing individual effort right out of the gate. He was literally shot out of a cannon on that play.
Kyle Davidson doesn't get enough credit for the acquisition of the cannon.
Yeah, it's been a big factor. But then you go on and let 3 straight after that you let them in. So I mean, it's Arvid Soderblom. I'm not hanging him out to dry completely on those 3 goals in the first period, but you'd like a little bit better from him. The defensive play in front of him was not good to begin that game, but then they kind of find their game in that second period and third period as well. But again, like, this is not a team that can really afford to start slow and have to climb out of a hole like that at the beginning of a game. So kudos to them for fighting back. But you don't want to put yourself behind the 8 ball like that to start a game.
No, definitely not. And I just, you score that first goal and you're like, all right, this is going to be a romp. Because you said it to me, like, they came ready. I think that was before the goal got scored, too. You said that to me.
Yeah, and with the crowd, too.
Yeah,
this building is juice. This is going to be – they're going to run away with this one. And
then you give up 2 goals over the next couple seconds. You're up 1-0, 108. Then goals come at 2:08 and 2:32 from Vancouver. And then, again, it's 6:32. And we talk about this all the time, is you as a player need to trust your goaltender. And then I think – what we saw for the rest of the first, was like when we were saying they're being too cute, they're overpassing, they're pulling up the blue line, is okay. Now we got to be perfect because every mistake we make is going to end up in the back of their net. They get the late goal in the first, and then they kind of reset everything, and they reset everything, and then everything looks better. Whatever happened in the intermission, the reset button was hit, and they got kind of back to their game, and they carried it for a while. But I think for me, if we're looking back on this thing, overall 60 minutes, I still think it's a goaltending loss. You go like a 15-minute span giving up 1 shot on goal. You kind of need to win that one, man. I'm sorry, it's aggravating.
Well, and the 4-3, the fourth goal early in the third period on the penalty kill, that one's. That's a tough one to give up too, where it goes off the paddle as it's coming across the crease, and then they knock it out of midair. Like, that's a tough one too. Like, you want to be able to try and maybe be able to make a play to get that away from you rather than knocking it straight up in the air. But I mean, it seems like Arvid Soderblom probably wasn't expecting to start because Spencer Knight was ill as the day went on. And wasn't able to go. That's why there was an emergency goalie, and that's why Soderblom got the start. Otherwise, this would have been I would imagine a Spencer Knight game. But Jeff Blashill did talk about the defensive effort tonight, and just kind of the overall game. First game at post trade deadline, where it's going to be some new guys and some new roles. And here's what he had to say.
Flash on the defense here, Chloe.
Yeah, especially early. I think one of the things we've done really well coming out of the break, we were excellent defensively for 4 games. So that puts you in position to win games every night. It puts you in position to win games against any style of team. And I just thought tonight we weren't good enough defensively at all early. Showed you get down 3-1, and now after that I thought we played pretty well. I didn't think we gave up a whole bunch after that. But you take a penalty and find a way in the net, and so now you're down and you can't score. So we can't expect ourselves to be a team that's going to win 5-4. So you can't give up 4. So you got to make sure you're grounded defensively.
It's a good point. You're not the Edmonton Oilers where you can outscore your problems. 2 goals most nights is at a premium for this team, so they've got to be strong defensively, and we know they're capable of it. And look, when you beat Utah, you had Dickinson and you had Murphy and different team, right? Of course, but you saw stretches of this game where they were pretty dominant defensively, and it just wasn't enough. So until the offense gets more consistent, they've got to be really, really deliberate defensively.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have some of those breakdowns in that first period, I mean, the way that they played in the second and third, you're able to think about coming away from this game with a win. So it is disappointing, but I mean, that's kind of the reality now with this group moving forward here from the trade deadline, is that a lot of those guys that you probably would lean on to right the ship a bit was Connor Murphy, Jason Dickinson, Nick Foligno. So now those guys aren't here. So now the guys in the room got to kind of look up and down the bench, look around the room. look inside themselves and just be like, hey, it's on us now. Kyle Davidson said it this afternoon before the game, like this is their team now, these young players. So making sure that they are able to be those guys that you can rely on, you can lean on, you can trust in those moments to kind of right the ship in games and not let it snowball in the wrong way. That's on them now, and it's all part of the growing process. So I think this first game without those guys, and I think the back 2/3 of the game is something to take away from it as a positive. But obviously, as we all know, a hockey game is 60 minutes. You can't win it with just 40 good minutes.
Well, it certainly wasn't all bad, and a couple of young players stood out. We talked about Bedard, Nazar, Levshunov, and our Game Puck nominee and current leader, Oliver Moore, we thought was outstanding. Really liking him at center, really liking him on that line. I thought he was incredibly effective all day, noticeable the entire time. That Bertuzzi, Moore, Mikheyev line was one of the highest rated on the team. I really like what I saw from him today.
Yeah, he was all over the ice, utilizing his speed, just very, as Jeff Blashill put it, dog on a bone type of game tonight. So, yeah, I mean, that's a guy that I think, a lot of people were not happy that he was on the fourth line, but I think it was just kind of a matter of time before he got the opportunity to kind of get more minutes and more responsibility, because now with Jason Dickinson gone, you need a third line center, and I think he's getting that first opportunity to kind of put in that spot and see how he goes. So after the game, Jeff Blashill did talk about Oliver Moore, and he pointed out that there was some good, but there was also some not so good, some learning moments from the game as well.
Well, he kind of bounced around, to be honest with you. So he played a little bit with Bert and Mickey. Probably played more, honestly, with Mangiapane and Slags, and because I actually thought that line was good together. They kind of did a good job of like grinding and pressure, and they're all a little bit dog on a bone. So I thought he had ups and downs, which is to be expected. The one thing he hasn't done coming out of the break was playing a lot of center. He's just been playing center, getting a little bit, so he's getting used to things like coverage off these own face-offs, things like that. So he's getting used to that. But he also had pretty good jump. So I thought there was some positives and there was some negatives, and we're going to try to create more positives and negatives.
Just to follow up what he said there, he did indeed spend more time with Slaggert and Mangiapane. 425 at 5-on-5 with them, and it was 419 with Bertuzzi and Mikheyev, so 6 fewer seconds. But he's right on it, man. He knew.
Hey, 6 seconds makes a big difference, I've been told.
That's right.
So yeah, I mean that's. But the Bertuzzi, Mikheyev, and Moore, like that was the line that was out there when he set up Mikheyev to get the I think that was the 3-2 goal. That was a really good play, and that's a play where he's coming through the neutral zone with speed. He battles to keep a puck in the offensive zone, and him and Bertuzzi make a good connection, and then he sets up Mikheyev, and Mikheyev's right there to bury it. So those are the types of plays you want to see guys like Moore and the rest of these young players start to make more often, and that's the kind of play that I think he can make consistently, is utilizing that speed and that aggressiveness on the puck that he has in his game.
I think Blashill likes him better at center. I think I like him better at center because I think one of the things with Moore has been using his speed in context, right? Like you don't have to go 100%, 100 miles an hour every second. Use your speed, be deceptive with it, turn on the jets when you need to turn the jets on. And I think him playing center and having more responsibility is slowing him down a little bit, if that makes sense.
Blashill said that right when he moved more to center, where he had said, like, especially when you're a young guy and you're on the wing, you kind of just going full blast up the boards to get down to the zone. But when you're at center, you're in the middle of the ice. You can see more of the ice, and then you can decide to pick or choose. Oh, there's a hole. Boom, I'm through it, as opposed to just going full blast up the boards, every time up. So he's a different player when he's at center, and that was a guy that all through college, it was like, oh, I don't think he's going to be a center in the pros. He's probably going to have to be a wing. And now it's like, I'd rather have him down the middle. But it's good to know that you have guys that can play, down the middle and on the outside as well.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, Mario.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that idea came from the fact that, when he was in college, he wasn't 6 foot tall. So, of course, he's too small to play center.
That's the rule. You cannot be a short king and be a center king. You can put that on a T-shirt.
Also talked about another short king, Andrew Mangiapane, in his first game, which, I mean, he hasn't had a practice, didn't even have a real mooring skate today before playing. But actually, I mean, there were a few moments where he was pretty noticeable. That play late in the third where, you think you have the tying goal, but Landon Slaggert decided to take a free kick. That's the kind of play that I think the Blackhawks want to see him make. It's the kind of style of play that Mangiapane has kind of expressed himself to be, a guy that can, play in the middle and not be afraid to go to the net and make something happen. So that's good. This is what Blashill had to say about the newest member of the Blackhawks.
Yeah, trying to think, what did he play? He played 852, so, he didn't get a ton. He got really in a tough spot in the second there. There was like 4-on-4, power play, then penalty kill. He's not on any of those right now. So, but I thought he did a good job. I thought he showed the tenacity that I think he's going to have to be successful for us. Showed some ability with the puck to go along with that tenacity. That can be a real positive. So we'll see how it goes from here.
Yeah, it's a good point for him that he was stuck out because of no power play, no penalty kill, but noticeable. Not I wouldn't say spectacular. Oh my God, Mangiapane is this suddenly found, superstar for the Blackhawks. But as we were saying earlier, Greg, his style of play matches very much what Jeff Blashill likes, and directly and indirectly drew a pair of penalties today. Set Slaggert up for that really nice chance in front when he was hooked. In a small sample size, I like what I saw, especially from a guy who's probably running on complete fumes right now, considering he flew here, landed overnight, morning skate, game.
Oh yeah, and you go from being traded to a new team, like it's
a lot.
It's a lot, and he's probably gonna pass the F out the second he gets into his hotel room tonight, because he doesn't have he's going to be living out of a suitcase for the next few weeks until he gets settled in. So, good first impression, and we'll see how it goes when he gets some time to settle in and get some practices here. As I said, the next game is you got back-to-back Sunday, Monday against two good teams. So, it's a test right off the bat.
100%.
All right, you got to go right on the road.
Yeah, exactly. Any news, nuggets, or notes?
Just the fact that, as I said earlier, Spencer Knight just seems like just kind of like a one-off.
He was in the room today when we left, so in the locker room this morning.
Yeah, so that was that seemed like that was the situation. And Blashill also mentioned about playing the 11 and 7 configuration. That he really, as we've known, he's a big fan of Ethan Del Mastro, so he wants to get him playing, get him minutes, and get him some time in the defensive rotation. And so I wouldn't be shocked if 11 and 7 is something that comes back with a little regularity now with this group. And I don't know what Sam Lafferty has to do to get in the lineup. He scratched the guy on his birthday. Can't believe that happened. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of where you're at right now. And the guys that you want to see play, develop, and grow are these young players. So Del Mastro is part of that. So I'm not surprised that they kind of changed up the lineup to get him in there.
All right. That's Mario Tirabassi from UC. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
See you guys on Sunday.
All right. There he is. Follow him on Twitter at Mario_Tirabassi. And now it is time for our new segment, The Original Take, brought to you by Hooters. Cheer on your favorite teams from any of their 11 Chicagoland locations, or check them out at originalhooters.com. A bunch of conversation in the chat, including from Curtis, who sends a $5 super chat to say, did Ethan Del Mastro play well enough to keep Nick Lardis down? A lot of people not want Nick Lardis up. Well, I'm among them. He scored again today for Rockford. It feels like they're probably going to keep him down, especially if they're going 11-7.
I think so. And Del Mastro being up here and Lardis being down are not connected at all. It's those are not. Those are two different things. It certainly feels like they would. And Davidson kind of said this same thing about Kevin Korchinski earlier today about, is it when they look at their overall development and big picture, is it more beneficial for Nick Lardis to be up here playing 11 minutes a night, or is it more beneficial for him to be in Rockford and playing 18, 19 minutes a night, number one power play, top line, and being the guy?
Right.
It's probably more beneficial for him to be the guy in Rockford than a guy in Chicago. And I know people want to see him up here. I get that. He's an exciting prospect. He's a guy that can put the puck in the net, and they need that. But it certainly feels like he's going to stay down there maybe until the last week of the year. Maybe if the Ice Hogs, they're a long shot to make the playoffs now, maybe in a week or two, if it's pretty much a done deal that they're missing the playoffs, then maybe you call them up, see what happens. And I think they also kind of waiting out, with Frundell and Boisvert, that affects it too.
Yep.
So who knows? I mean, hockey is a sport where, hey, there's going to be there's probably going to be another injury before this is all said and done. Like, opportunity will present itself at times, but I think they're satisfied with letting him be the main guy in Rockford. And I agree with that. Like, I think it's more beneficial for him to be the leading scorer in Rockford, be the number one offensive option there. So when he's back here, he's got a little more confidence. He's got, he'll slide because he doesn't have to be that here.
Look, I want him here because they need offense. But zooming out, if he was here now, he is incredibly one-dimensional.
Right.
He is just a goal scorer. And while he wasn't a complete disaster defensively, he's not fully rounded out yet. And let's be honest, I don't think anyone expected Nick Lardis to turn pro and play much in the NHL. I think what he's done this year already is a little bit unexpected. You thought maybe if injuries got really bad, they'd have to, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, if Bedard and Nazar don't get injured at the same time, he probably doesn't play up here at all.
And the reason that was him is because the guys that got hurt were goal scorers, offensive-minded guys, and you didn't move any of those guys at the deadline. You feel your top, and I know eye rolls about Andrei Burakovsky, but apparently that's where he's going to play. I thought he was better tonight, by the way.
Sure.
So they're going to bring in replacements to fill roles. They're not just going to say who are the best.
Right. If you ship out a Jason Dickinson, you don't replace him with Nick Lardis. Like, they're two different sides. And that again, when Bedard and Nazar got hurt, he was the perfect replacement for that. Who got injured slightly before that, and everybody was like, "Oh, Nick Lardis, call him up." I don't. Maybe it was one
Foligno?
Maybe it was one of Dickinson's injuries. We're like, call him up. It's like, no, you're not going to call. That's when I think they brought up Tornado instead.
Right.
That might have been Foligno, because it was like it's a fourth line guy. You're going to replace him with a fourth line guy. You still have to fill out the lineup every night. So Lardis, maybe we see him again at the end of the year. Probably, I would think. Maybe when you have some of these guys who are turning pro here, hopefully in a couple of weeks up here, you want to bring him up and get that feel good mix to end the year.
I'm down with that.
You shut, maybe you sit, Burakovsky for a few games, or somebody gets hurt. Maybe you shut down Teuvo Teravainen for the last couple weeks of the season, because he's dealt with a lot of, and he's fighting something now.
Yeah, you could tell.
Well, he was hobbling in practice yesterday, and Blashill said he's been dealing with something. So maybe that's an excuse to be like, hey, Teuvo, take the last 10 games off of the season. You're a Warrior. You've earned it. And then Who do you replace Teuvo Teravainen with? Nick Lardis.
That
is
sounds
a good
like
candidate.
a nice fit for Nick Lardis. And I think someone in the chat asked earlier if Lardis can't play here, like why are Boisvert and Frondel going to play instead? Frondel is a higher prospect.
He's your number one
Lardis.
prospect.
That's your top prospect.
Yeah,
and he also, I think at this point, plays a more complete game.
Different player.
Yeah, than Lardis does.
And Boivin brings in the physical play. Like, again, different players,
He's a
different
bottom
roles.
6 type, right?
You always could use a guy like that, you know? Okay, so so Landon Slaggert doesn't get to play the last 5 games of the year, so Sasha Boisvert can. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, the comment was actually about Kancerov and Frondel.
Yeah. Well, those guys. Well, Kancerov's not. He's not going to be here till next year.
Right.
So they'll find a spot for him. Don't worry.
And he's a year older than Lardis already, and he's
playing pros. He's leading the KHL.
Playing in the pro. I think it's fair to say the KHL is the second best hockey league in the world.
Second or third, yeah.
Yeah.
AHL might be better than the KHL.
Yeah, I think
it's
thriving in the way he's thriving. He's thriving in a historical context.
Yeah,
up there with Kaprizov and some of the all-timers.
Chasing down Kaprizov's record for the most goals of an under 23 player. So held
by him and Eddie Olczyk.
Yeah, exactly. There goes another one. There goes another one of Edzo's records.
They had one on Levshunov today too. It was for rookie defenseman with assists. I think he was like 4th all time. Behind really good players. I didn't get the graphic changed before I was able to.
I heard Magnuson was one of them.
It's not shocking.
And Eddie Olczyk that year he played defense as a teenager. You also have to fill out different roles for teams, and Lardis has a specific game that he plays, and it's different from Antoine Frondel, and it's different from Sasha Boisvert. It's different from Kancerov. Like they're both goal scorers, but they get their goals in different ways. And Kancerov is also, can set guys up. He's got plenty of assists this year too. Right. So, it's a good problem to have when you're like, man, we've got these exciting young talent come. Do we have enough spots for them? That's not a bad thing, and they'll find spots. They did it with Nazar. They did it with Moore. They'll play themselves into it, and those guys will have their chance, at training camp to earn their spots and stay up. And we'll get a small taste of it over these last few games. And maybe Lardis is one of those guys we get up here for a few games too. Somebody pointed out in the chat too. Maybe they want to. And I'm sure this really isn't a thing, but it's kind of fun to think of, like, well, they don't want him to play 25 games, so he's eligible for the Calder next year.
I don't think they're worried about that.
There's no way in hell.
It's not a horrible point, though.
There's a 0% chance that's crossed Kyle Davidson's mind, but it's still a fun thing to say. Like,
Yeah. By the way, Roman Kancerov, born September 20th, 2004, and Nick Lardis, born July 8th, 2005. So same draft, but 9 months between them?
Nick Lardis was an 11-year-old child.
Yes, he was. I'm like, is this the draft helper kid? Why are we interviewing him? Oh, okay. All right. Are we ready for the frat house, Chloe? Let's go. Hit the music. All right. Our featured frat boy today for the frat house at Madison is Artyom Levshunov. 2009 of ice time, led all defensemen, had 2 hits and 148 of shorthanded ice time. I've liked his game since the Olympic break has ended. Arrow pointed up. As Kyle Davidson said today, you've seen more ups and downs. And I think if you do the little graph, the arrow is pointed up on Levshunov. The downs have been very down. They've been far down. There's no doubt about that. But we have seen flashes of brilliance from him that we've not seen from some of the other Hawks defensive prospects, including Kevin Korchinski or Sam Rinzel. Hearing from Kyle Davidson today still sounded like he's got full faith in Artyom Levshunov, as he should.
Oh, yeah. There's been nothing that happened this year, even at his lowest point. There's been no reason to be like, oh, this guy's a bust. Like, oh, we should, I know people love to say that because, again, people are weird. But no, he should have all that. And the response that he's made from, his reset, his benching, however you want to phrase it, has been positive. You're getting what you wanted to see from something like that. He didn't hang his head. He didn't get down. He put in the work, and it's paying off. So keep it up. 20 more games to go. Let's finish out this season strong. So at the end of the year, you can be like, okay, that Artyom Levshunov, there's something there.
100%. All right, we have to assign the Game Day Men's Health Game Puck winner. We are running out of time on the show. Better father, better husband, better man. Go to Game Day Men's Health. Visit GameDayCHGO.com to find the locations nearest you. Chloe says it's too close to call. What's the percentages?
The percentage is 41% to 41%.
All right.
Between
Who do you
Nazar
got?
and Moore.
I voted for Oliver Moore.
I voted for Oliver Moore. Chloe?
I'll vote for Oliver Moore.
All right. Oliver Moore is the
There it
winner
is.
of the Game Day Men's Health Game Puck. Congrats to him. I'm sure he's very excited. All right. We're going to wrap things up. Thanks for being with us on the postgame show. We are back Sunday. I have not even focused on Sunday yet. What time is that game at?
5 o'clock.
5
It's a
o'clock.
nice early game.
So 4:30 pregame ahead of Hawks and Dallas Stars. We'll talk to you then on CHGO Blackhawks.
We all silly like the mayor.